Peace, family. Welcome back to another video. Today, we will be discussing the origins of Easter. Alright, so let's get it started. Start by reading this slide here. It says, Easter is a Christian holiday which allegedly celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ on Good Friday. Jesus was allegedly crucified, to which he rose from the dead 2 days later. Then it goes on to say the word Easter comes from Esther, which is the name of Nimrod's, to which he had sex with an impregnated woman. So you might be asking yourself, who is Esther and who is Nimrod? Nimrod was a fictional Babylonian god, and he was basically his mother, Esther, who was a Virgin Mary or whatever you want to call her. Okay, so basically the fictitious story that Google is going to tell you is how she was basically like underage, and she was a part of these women that would go to this king, and they would have sex with him, and if it would be a one night stand, if he didn't hit you back, you didn't get selected. So she got hit back though. And like I said, she was underage. This is the story. If you look it up, this is what they would tell you. They would tell you that she was raped and all this nonsense. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what they do, and that's what they did during those times. They still do today. And you will see that with Bad Baby and what's going on in her life. Let's get back to Nimrod real quick. Now, if you want to do your time to research him, you will see that his name is now used to call someone an idiot or someone stupid, something like that. But he and then if you look him up, they say he's very fictional. They say he was a fictional Babylonian king, and how he would have his people go out to get these young women, and they would season them up, like literally cover their bodies in season, and like let it sit for 6 months and stuff like that, or over a year, and then he would have sex with these women, and he would choose whichever one he felt should come back. And Esther just had so been the woman. But let's move on from that. I can almost guarantee you Nimrod really was the child that impregnated his mother. Nimrod was not the Babylonian king. That's why they call it fictitious. And it's part of the origins of Easter, of how these children, the Greek and ancient people, were reproducing with their children. This is where incest and all these things come from. Okay, so boom, look at that. Easter, spring. This is the height, the peak where rabbits are reproducing. This is their season. Spring is technically the new year, not January the 1st, but really in the midst of March. That is the beginning of the new time, or a new age, or on the earth, when she is cleaning herself. This is the time. And rabbits, they reproduce a lot. Also, that's what the rabbit is symbolic for. The eggs are symbolic to testicles, a man's testicles. As you can see, or those probably are even rabbit testicles. Basically, what they were used to do is paint the testicles of the little boys. Like, that's why you paint the egg. They painted the testicles. And then when you crack it open to see what's inside, like, we know what's inside. So when you crack in the nut, you bust the nut or crack the egg, whatever you want to call it. That's what this is symbolic to. So basically, we are practicing a ritual of a dumbed down version of a paganistic holiday by coloring the egg and the rabbit. But they used to color these little boys' testicles. That's what's really what's going on. And people are not understanding this. Yeah, it may be dumbed down for children to accept it, but why would you want your child to be practicing something that's not only is it not an African tradition, because honestly, we don't, as black people, we do not celebrate no African, like, before slavery, before the slave trades, before all the slave trades, or even in the midst of some of the slave trades, we as African Americans, we do not practice none of our holidays or our rituals or whatever. We don't do none of that. We go by these federal holidays. I understand it might be all you know, but it doesn't hurt to just look up African holidays, honestly. So that's the breaking point. When will you be able to relearn? When will you be able to undo European colonization? We have been Western European colonization. We have been colonized. When will we, break the chain? Okay, here you can see they're saying Jesus rose. Jesus is the Son. The Son is Jesus. That's what they are referring to. The Bible, the Holy Bible, and you can look up the definition of holy. Helios meaning son, the Son, Bible meaning book, the Son, book. The Bible, the Holy Bible is nothing but a super dumbed down version of astrology, astronomy, and the evil plans of these wicked people. Like, that's the laws of the universe. You must make it be known that what you are going to do, whether it's good or bad, even though they came up with that terminology as well, it has to be known. That's why they have subliminal messages. They throw stuff right in your face. They're telling you what they are going to do. They tell you right in your face. You just don't see it. You don't pay no mind to it. But let's get back to what when they say Jesus rose, and he rose and stood in one spot for days. I believe that's what it says. This is symbolic to the sun. The sun, it looks like is when it rises, it sits in this one spot, and then they was able to connect the planets beside it, above it, and below it, and they was able to create a cross, and the sun is set in the middle. That's where that comes from. The sun rose. The sun rises every single day, but the new sun has came in. Well, no, basically it's the returning of the sun. Excuse me. This is the returning of the sun. We have done our course around the sun, so now we are back at the beginning, where we intensely get closer and closer and closer to the sun, and there's certain people that cannot take that. Okay, and we know who those people are. But let's get into these Bible quotes, these biblical references of Jesus' death and the resurrection, which is ultimately about the sun, the Leo that shines bright and that creates life. Let's start with one on the top left. It's all from the King James Bible for my black people. And that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the scriptures. Take it to the right. And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and two other with him on either side, and Jesus in the midst. Now all that other stuff, the Golgotha, you're gonna have to look that up, because right now I cannot break that down to you, but this last quote, I can break it down to you. Okay, the two others that were with him were simply two other stars, and Jesus, the Son, sat in the middle between these two stars that was in the sky. This all happened in the sky. It didn't happen with no man being hung on the cross, especially not no white man being hung on the cross. And if a white man was hung on their cross, because the cross, the regular cross with the line going through it, that's an unbalanced cross. When you wear that cross, you are basically saying that you are unbalanced in your life. Your life is not balanced. You don't have no balance within your life. That's what the cross represents. Now, if you get a crux, however you want to pronounce it, that cross is balanced. It has equal weight. It won't lean to one side. It's equal. You understand what I'm saying, my people? Change your cross. It's a lot of things that we have to change. We must also unlearn Christianity as well. But I will save that for another video. I want to thank everybody who made it this far. Peace and love. I hope that we can continue to grow and learn and have an open mind to what our ancestors believed in. And that's what I'm here for. Y'all have a great one.